This is my first 24 hours with the Hasselblad 907x and CFV 100C. Long name, I know, but essentially this is the 907x and this is the CFV 100C, a 100 megapixel sensor that captures incredibly detailed photos. And lens-wise, I'm using a 38mm f2.5 XCD lens. To start the day off, I poured up a warm cup of tea, grabbed my laptop, and headed to the balcony to catch up on some emails.
Looks good.
I'm filming this video at the beautiful Suncadia Resort. It's about an hour and a half out of Seattle, Washington, and the views are fire. I've never used this camera or a Hasselblad in general before, so I figured some shots in my room could be a good test to get acquainted. I snapped this photo here using the Focus 2 app on my phone, and I like it. I'm learning to enjoy the aspect of not always having the person in the photo or shot be in focus, and sometimes allowing the scene itself to be the focus. I headed down and had lunch with some of the other creators at this event. The lighting is harsh around noon, so this was also a good use of this time anyways. We ate tacos, shared some of the struggles and pressure we feel to produce content, and just enjoyed the views. As the sun cooled off, I headed out to start shooting. This setup of the 907X and CFV 100C is a vintage design style with minimal buttons, shutter button at the front, and large rear display to adjust controls. But basically everything about this design is meant for waist level shooting and slowing the process to be more methodical and enjoyable. Off the edge of this beautiful overlook, I snapped my real first photo of this walkway. Not an amazing photo by any means, but it has some elements I enjoy. I like the cement being the leading line, the building to the left side, and the contrasting colors of the field and the mountains in the background. Not a bad first shot if I do say so myself. The atmosphere is beautiful. The wind blowing the trees, scattering the blades of grass in the ground, the mountains in the distance. Places like this just really get the creativity flowing. The real test when it comes to using any camera for the first time is less about the design or ergonomics and more about knowing where to expose the image. That's something you truly don't find out until you get in post. This setup is rated for 15 stops of dynamic range, so the push and pull capability should be really flexible. I snapped this photo of the mountainside. I really like how the hills create layers throughout the frame. The trees and the mountains in the background, they really add to that. I used to think the color brown was the ugliest color in existence. And as an adult, it might actually be my favorite, so these buildings really speak to me. I really like the contrast with the blue sky. This is one of those photos you can really see that 100 megapixel crispiness on the building and the birds in the background. I found an amazing frame while walking that I felt just needed a subject in it. I set the camera to interval shooting, walked through the frame, and this is what I got. Nice leading lines with the street, contrasting colors with the background. I like this photo a lot. This is one of the photos where you can truly see that Hasselblad natural color solution working well. The way the tones and the colors hit here are amazing. With the setup already mounted, I turned the camera around, hopped the fence, and snapped these using the Focus 2 app on my phone. I don't love these photos. Not because they're bad, they're just kind of boring to me. Heading back, I did snap this photo though. This is one of my favorites on the day. To me, this just feels like a wallpaper photo. All the lines in the photo just lead to the building, which is beautifully lit by the sunset. This is such a great photo in my opinion. As the sun was setting, the hillside just lit up golden, and I snapped this photo. I thought this was a solid shot as is with that vibrant feel, but having a subject in the frame might make it even better. I set the camera to interval shooting, walked through the frame a couple times, and I caught these. My favorite has to be the photo with me centered. I wish I was smaller in the frame, but I do love how the hill just splits the frame at a diagonal angle, and the trees placed randomly throughout the photo add as well. Also really like the fact that the wind is blowing the trees, which adds a sense of movement to this photo. I like it a lot. At this point, the wind really started to kick up, and with the sun setting, the temperature just dropped. Thankfully though, I had this thick crew neck on from Huckberry. This crew neck has the perfect silhouette crop, reinforced elbow stitch, and elastic wrist and neckline, which made this weather bearable. Definitely one of my favorite pieces from them. Huckberry is an online shop with quality men's apparel and accessories for all occasions. Whether you need a timeless bracelet like the one I'm wearing here, or quality essentials like this tee I'm wearing here, Huckberry is the place to shop. They're also running the $100,000 giveaway right now. All cash to you to do whatever your heart desires. You could fund something you've always dreamed of starting, travel to Japan, whatever. If you win, it's yours. Other prizes in the giveaway include a $10,000 Huckberry shopping spree, a first-class trip with a friend to the Huckberry headquarters for a dream weekend of fun, and exclusive access to the Huckberry network of contacts to help throughout your creative journey. Huckberry has been my go-to for outfits over the past few months, and I love not only how the outfits look and fit, but the quality of the pieces they offer are just amazing. Links will be down in the description below to not only shop at Huckberry, but enter that $100,000 giveaway. To get the full 24-hour experience, I decided to wake up at sunrise and see what other photos I could capture with the 907x and CFV 100C. By this time, I had a chance to dump the photos, and boy, was those file sizes huge. It really made me thankful that the setup has a 1TB SSD internally, so it's no need for a memory card. All you gotta do is charge it up and get back to shooting. I really love working before the sunrises. The atmosphere is crisp, everything is still, yet in motion with the wind. It unlocks a different perspective when it comes to shooting. I came across a small lake with these really interesting red canoes, so I tried to find an angle. Looking at this footage, this angle I filmed is fire, but this is the shot that I came up with for the photo. I realized from this photo, you can actually recover a lot of detail in the shadows, but I still wanted a sunrise vibe for the photo, so this is what I landed on. This is not my favorite photo, but it has some interesting elements. Taking sunrise photos is tricky. Moments before the sun actually rises over the horizon, you get this beautiful blue hue that covers everything, and that could be hard to capture with how dim the scene actually is. I snapped these photos here, which I think embodies that look overall. When you look at these pictures, you can definitely tell that they were taken at sunrise, and that's what I was going for. The sun finally peeked over the horizon, and it perfectly sat between these two trees in the scene. I bounced around a lot, but ultimately, this was the photo I came up with. Photos like this are why I love this 38mm lens. 38mm on full frame would be slightly telephoto, but this is actually closer to a 30mm equivalent on this medium format sensor. It allows you to not only get slightly wider shots, but a shallower depth of field when getting closer to your subjects. With the sun finally over the horizon, I wanted to explore other parts of the resort to see if I can get some more variety. I snapped these photos on the way. By this time, I think I'm kind of getting used to the waist level shooting on this system. It's different, but I enjoy it. It truly reminds me of like shooting music videos. A lot of shots within that process are filmed from the waist level using a top handle, so this perspective is new, but it's also very familiar. I spotted these hills in the distance and I love the way that they layered. I knew this would be a great spot for some self-portraits in motion. I set up a frame on my cameras and just started to move while snapping pictures using the Focus 2 app on my phone. It allows you to set focus, exposure, and snap photos wirelessly. When it comes to taking pictures of myself, I always try to stay in motion. I find that it makes the photos feel a lot more candid and less setup. As the sun peaks over the horizon on this beautiful day and slowly wraps up my first 24 hours shooting on this system, I have some thoughts. If I had to summarize my experience into one word, I would say relaxing. The screen orientation, minimal buttons, and ergonomics of this camera system truly forces you to slow down and compose your shots, which I actually like a lot. Now, while I do enjoy the pace of shooting on this system, I would personally love to see a bit more customization options with the available dials you do have. Autofocus on this system was reliable, and the 100 megapixel photos are truly remarkable. Endless cropping possibilities. It's insane the quality of these photos. Overall, my experience using this system was extremely fun. But one point of improvement I think would go a long way is the mobile app control. I know the intended purpose of this camera isn't self-portraits by any means, but I would love to see the ability to utilize shooting modes on the app like self-timer and interval shooting. I don't know if you noticed, but in every shot of myself using the app, my phone is in my hands. And that's because the only capture option you have via the app is simply pressing a shutter button. The option to set focus and start a self-timer or interval shooting would make capturing self-portraits so much better. Other than that though, I had a blast and I can't wait to implement everything I've learned from this experience into my next use of this system. Links to everything will be down in the description for anybody interested.